This is what you call a bad bitch. What? This is what you call a bad bitch. How do you feel? I love how that's the one that we transitioned over.
What? Oh, well, are we live now?
Yes, we're live
You do
now.
it. Oh, you know what? I give you a fair warning with my finger guns, and you just do it. You just hit the button.
Ah, so you do things expecting reciprocation?
In this case, yes. Come, it's courtesy. It's courtesy to let people know when they're on camera. Hey, everybody. People know when they're on camera.
I just
You're
listened
staring
to
at me.
that on the thing and I was like, "You sound like such a goddamn spoiled, rotten jackass." Hello, everyone, and welcome to Waking Up. I'm We have an echo. Yeah, I know. You have an echo because I was listening to my, the stream, and so I could hear it. So there should be no echo now because reasons.
Just fixed.
'Cause fixed. 'Cause gotta make sure
Mhm.
I don't sound like shit. And my mic
Yep.
stand's not doing anything. It's fine. I haven't showered. I haven't brushed my hair. There is a like for real. I've been awake for like 2 hours and I still am like, "Mm-mm. No, it's fine."
Mhm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Arugs, and with me is my co-host and best friend most of the time when I tolerate him.
Most of the time.
Most of the
Yeah, yeah.
time.
It's questionable.
My co-host and sidekick. No, you're not my sidekick. I refuse to make you
No,
my
don't.
sidekick.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? No,
don't.
you're not
I'm
my
not a
sidekick.
sidekick.
I sorry, we have trauma
No.
against sidekicks, so we're not sidekick here. We are
Yes.
both main
Mm-mm.
character energy. The stories,
Yes.
the genres are just a
Exactly.
little different. So with me is my co-host, Sean, aka Pep Pep, and this is Waking Up, where we talk about our trauma, and mostly with a religious slant, but not always.
Hmm.
But here we are. So partner in rhyme.
Yeah.
No, no.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and here is our disclaimer
Mm.
that we have at the beginning of every one of our wonderful shows. Here on Waking Up, we are not here to bash anybody's religious beliefs or their faith. We think religion and faith are beautiful things when done in a mentally and emotionally healthy manner. We are not licensed professionals. Anything said in this podcast is strictly our own opinions, our own experiences. They are completely subjective. So if you really need help, if you are in need of real professional help, we do have resources for you that will help you get in touch with people who are professionals. So you can contact us on all our socials at Nerd Mom Ace, and I was really glad I got rid of the one. I got all all my socials. I was
Right?
able to
I
claim
know.
all my
Yep. I know.
all Nerd Mama. So it's cool. Uh,
Absolutely.
Sean and I grew up in the Carolinas. We grew during the time Billy Graham, the buckle of the Bible Belt. We were Billy Graham territory and very Southern Baptist. And for those of you who don't know, Southern Baptist is an evangelical denomination of the Christian faith. Very and you can find varying degrees of conservatism in amongst Southern Baptists. Apparently, they. I didn't think that they could get more conservative when we were kids, but I was wrong. I was wrong. I was way wrong.
Hmm.
So, um,
You and me both.
yes.
They
So,
did.
yeah.
Hmm.
I stopped
Yeah.
asking you what we're talking about today, because we
Yeah.
never know
'Cause
what we're
I
talking about.
don't usually know, and that's okay. I just
Yeah,
show up
but he
and
never, like, helps come up with something, like, he just
I tried for a while, and it was never it was never very good. Like, I mean, I can try again, but, um
"Hello, how are you?"
hey, hello again, glad you could join us.
Yes.
Yeah, you come up with terrific topics, and I don't say that because I'm like, "Oh, if you keep coming up with them, I don't have to." You honestly do come up with terrific topics.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, what were we
Also,
talking about before we went live that we were holding on to? Like,
oh god, we were talking about green flags. Well, we're talking about, well, I called it a green flag. I consider it a green flag. we were talking about being joking and
Oh,
being
that's right.
sort
We
of
were talking about, okay,
toxic.
all right. So Sean decided before we went live, while I'm working on this stuff, he's like, he went and picked up his phone, and as I went live, to turn on the chat so he could see the chat, and I laughed, and because the first thought that went through my head was not in a serious way, but in a, I know this would trigger him type of way, and I was like, he goes, "What? What was it?" I was like, "Who you texted? What's her name?" All of these things, because his ex used to do that, and it was not. I was like, "Who you texted?" And then he decided to get snarky with me back, and he's like, "Here's who I'm texting. USC. I'm not texting anybody."
And then I was like, "Here, you want to look at my phone? You can look at my
Look
phone.
at
I've got
it. I
nothing to
was like,
hide."
"Oh,
Here.
oh." And then he did a would you rather? Would you rather have
Yeah.
somebody? Would you have somebody look through your phone or your computer? And I was like, "Oh, my computer, hands down." And then I was like, "What? Wait."
Then
It doesn't really matter, because anybody of substance that I talk to that would have any type of questionable like conversation would be on WhatsApp or Messenger or Discord, or like nobody really texts me anymore. So it's just like you could see all of it on my computer or my phone. It doesn't fucking matter. So at this point, have at it. I don't care. Whatever.
yeah, but I I still have that anxiety. If someone says, "Let me see your phone," it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter who. When someone wants to look through my phone, there's still anxiety there because of my ex. Oh my god, it triggers me. It definitely does.
Isn't it
Yeah.
awful? Like,
So,
do you ever look at something that's a trigger like that? Do you ever look at
mm,
something that is a trigger, like, hey, let me see your phone? And do you ever
mhm,
see like the TikToks or the social media? It's like, the guy hands him his phone. I don't care. Like, whatever, use my phone. Do you ever like
mhm.
wonder, will I ever be like that? Do you ever think that that is just like a thing? Like, it
I
will
used to
stop
be
being a
like that.
trauma response?
See, that's the thing is I used to be like that. But then what caused the trauma for me, what caused me to get triggered by this is my ex picked up my phone one time, which we had that rule that it was okay to do that. So I didn't think anything of it. She picked up my phone and just started going through it. Uh,
Calvino just called you.
wow.
Calvino, I have never been more proud of you being a part of
Mhm.
Team AOA as I have right in this very moment. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Hmm. Um. So. So she picked up my phone. I didn't think anything of it, but I did go through my head. I was like thinking like, is there anything she's gonna find? Because I was like, there's nothing to find. Um, and so she was going through my phone. We actually had a bunch of friends that were playing. We were playing board games. She flipped through my phone. And all of a sudden, her entire demeanor changed.
I'm on a WhatsApp group.
Um, every little thing about their lives, each other. Yeah, yeah,
We should start a Team AOA WhatsApp so that everybody could be involved. Like any
we
of our
should.
part of our
Yeah,
community.
I I like to know. I'm one of the. I like to know the little things sometimes, like not every little thing, but I like the back and forth of just innocuous things during the day.
Hi, I plucked my
It is cute.
nose hairs. Like, couldn't it, like how?
Not necessarily. I mean, okay, maybe if it's a big deal to them. Uh, what
Yeah, you know what? No, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Whatever.
exactly? Uh, uh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
uh, yeah. So the ex's of demeanor completely changed, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened? Like, and then she starts pointing to texts. We're in the middle of a tabletop game, bunch of friends.
First off,
She starts
inappropriate.
pointing.
First off,
Yeah.
inappropriate to do it in the middle, like when you have friends. Second, inappropriate, like
Hmm.
if she found something, inappropriate to bring it up in front of people. Third, entirely inappropriate to just like read you to filth without discussing or asking you or listening to you. Like she just literally jumped to conclusions.
Yeah.
No, all of that. Just
And
all
the
of that.
thing, what she pointed to, the awful thing that she found on my phone, the messages that I sent, was where me and a friend, actually it was my former garden instructor, exchanged messages that said, "Hey, I enjoy talking to you. It's a good part of my day when we get to chit chat, when we get to talk. I enjoy talking to you." That was the thing. That was the message that
Well,
she went ballistic on.
okay, well, I can see as somebody who has like very anxious and very triggered really
Mhm.
easily because of like, my abandonment issues. It would I didn't know Huts could jump. I love you so much, Camila. Um, but I can understand how you could jump to that conclusion. Like I
Uh-huh.
can understand how she could quickly, like not just jump, like literally fucking dive off that cliff. However, as somebody who has all the trauma skills and all of the things, it's also a
Mhm.
place where you're like, hey, like is this something I should be concerned about? I got my cape on for Pep Pep. Yeah,
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that.
he pulling out the
Yeah.
lightsaber. He's like defeating.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those. Hey, this like I just saw this. Is this something I should be concerned about, or like it made me feel a certain way.
Mhm.
It just made me like even in honesty, I saw this. It triggered my abandonment concern or my abandonment wound. It poked at
Mhm.
it. Is this something I should be concerned about? And I think, and if you're with a healthy partner, they would get
Mhm.
reply like, I mean, they should be honest about that and go, I mean, no or yes. I mean, I think that that's one thing is like if you're doing that and you see that message and
Mhm.
a partner and like you do have attraction to them or you do like there's like you need to be honest with your partner whatever that looks like because that if you're not honest about that if you spend a lot of time going no you don't have to worry about them you don't have to worry but and then knowing that you're attracted to them knowing that there is a possibility that a boundary could be crossed
Mhm.
and there's no boundaries then there's no boundary set
Mhm.
because your partner's running off the especially if they have unhealed trauma, abandonment trauma, then all of a sudden they're running off the that's when this becomes a big cyclone of I should be concerned about this person. This is blah 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 blah. There's no
Mhm.
understanding. And then there's you going, no, it's fine. I'm attracted to them, but no, it's fine. And no, they would never go for me, or no, that's not how this is. And then you keep moving forward with that other person. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a compromising situation and you shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Mhm.
So they're already fucking like, oh, and then if something happens, I knew it. I have always known all along. And then it's like that. It's like,
Well, it becomes I think it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy because the 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 abandonment wound get triggered, which garners a response. They respond to it, which then has a potential to trigger the other person, in this case me, or to it's possible to get stuck in a cycle where eventually that thing does happen, but it probably wouldn't have if there had been a healthy conversation to begin with.
right.
So yeah, there was no healthy conversation. There was no, can we talk about
Yeah,
this?
but
There
we've
was
already
no,
established that our former
yeah.
relationships,
Oh yeah.
yours and
Yeah.
mine included, our former relationship was
Mhm.
not healthy, and that's.
Mm-mm. No,
But
not at
that
all.
also
So
brings me up sort of I said new and improved and
yeah.
or as is and it sort of brings me up sort of what I was wanting to talk about cuz it's been something that sort of I've been mulling over, not
Mhm.
hardcore, but I just sort of want to get your opinion on and I'd be interested to see. So,
Okay. Hot
um
take here.
hot take. So I am very different than I was a year ago because I've been spending a lot of time because I, started a new therapist. So we're gonna get started. Like I have a feeling I'm gonna come away. I'm gonna come away crying more often than not. But she seems really good, and I really feel like I'm going to make a lot of
Mhm.
improvements and a lot of lot of changes. But I have also made a lot of improvements and changes just in this past year because last
Hmm.
year, like I said before, September was like the worst probably of my entire life. Every day I woke up in tight, like an emotional, like, you know how that emotional pain, like that, like you literally,
Hmm.
like, you don't think you'll ever not feel this sad, this hurt,
Yeah.
this raw again. Like you never, you think you're always going to feel this way and you don't believe that you're
Wait.
going to get over it. That's how
And
I
you
felt.
and you wake up with it, and you wake up
Yes.
with it, and you go to bed with it.
Yes. All day long. And it's always, it's a
Yeah.
constant thing. September last year. Yes. September
Hmm.
2023. It was
Yep.
for like I had just moved out. Like I think we were fine. I was finally after the shock of me having moved out and being on my
Hmm.
own. And then that's when I really started to do a lot of trauma work, a lot of inner child work, and it ripped shit open in me. And so I never thought that I would be okay. I always like, my therapist is like, just, survive the storm, survive the storm. And I'm like, I'm gonna drown here. I'm gonna be like fucking Davy Jones. It's always gonna be fucking. But now I am different. I did the work. I climbed, and I am a completely different person. Like I don't like. I looking back on that, I don't recognize myself now. And then I thought, well, what if I try to, and this is important for me, for you, Pep, because I've done this with you. What if I try
Oh
to
God.
show them that I'm a new person? All these people in my life, like I am different. I am different. And if like all these people that I was hurt because I lost them because of something I did, what if I try to show them that I am different and I'm better and that we can be in each other's
Hmm.
lives now? Um,
Hmm.
but is that's not healthy, I don't
Mm.
think. I mean, I know it's not.
Uh, I yeah, there's potential for it to be, but I think there's a lot of mm, I think there's a lot of risk involved. Just to like, you know what, I could do this. Like to me, that's one of those things. You know, when it's when you're take the commercials say, if you want to start this medication, you should see your doctor. If you want to start this thing in your therapy, if you want to start this healing thing that you think is healing, consult your therapist. Does your
Facts.
therapist think
Oh my god, that's
does your
very smart. See, look at
therapist
you
think
being
that that's
smart.
a good idea?
I think,
Yeah.
but then
Um,
I think it's selfish. I think that there's a part of me that's selfish.
that's where I was gonna go with it. Why? Why are you doing it? That's
Right,
the question you gotta ask.
right.
And because the way you presented that makes me think that's a selfish thing. What is your end game here? What are you trying to prove?
Right.
And that approach is a terrible way to start
You
that.
mean stalking somebody is a better way first?
I didn't say that's that
Uh-huh.
never mind. I'm not
Uh-huh. Explain
that
yourself.
I was
Explain
gonna
it. Mhm.
do you okay, you all right. That's like going to AA and say, you know, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol in 6 months, but ignore that cocaine in my pocket. You're replacing.
Fair.
I mean, you're replacing one unhealthy behavior with another unhealthy. Now, I will say, yes, there is a thing to be said about if you have an extremely unhealthy behavior, replacing that with a not as unhealthy behavior. That's not the best way to approach it, but
No,
I
there's
do
no
believe
I don't think that that's right at all either, though.
so. Yeah, because there is a healthy behavior that you can do. So replacing one with another. So I think that's yeah. So the cyber stalking. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to stalk them. I think that's
Oh
not
yeah, you're
healthy.
trying. Oh, so you were just saying it's not a healthy behavior because you're trying to justify you stalking me without actually talking to me.
I don't know what you're talking
Oh, is
about.
that it? Is that it? Okay, all right, all right,
Okay,
all right, cool.
we're we're,
I get
we're
where you're
calling
at.
each other out here. For
um,
anyone that doesn't know,
I don't know. Like there are some people that I don't want in my life again, and that's fine. But then there are some
yeah.
people who I just want to. I guess it's not. I got something to prove. You know,
Hmm.
can't save you here, Pip.
Yeah, I know. That
Camino's
was
like,
okay.
no, but
Yeah.
in that, like, it's hard not to. It's hard not to when you're going back, and especially when you're going back and having to address the things that you have done, not the things that have been done to you, because that's easy. That's easy. You
Mhm.
can, because then you haven't done anything. They did it to you. So you can prove, so you can go back and go, I'm not that person anymore. Fuck you. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
Versus, I did this thing to this person. Look at all of my toxic behaviors that caused this relationship to fall apart, or friendship, or, well, a relation. When I say relationship, everybody knows what I mean.
Yeah.
What caused this relationship with
It's a
this
blanket.
person
Yeah.
to fall apart. And
Mhm.
would this relationship have fallen apart because if I had been the person that I am now? Like that I think that's what gets me.
Mhm.
And this need to prove, I think that there's this need to prove that I'm not that person anymore, that I'm better, because
Mhm.
I don't.
No. You take a moment and share that? You can take a
Yeah.
moment if you need to.
No, it's not like emotional. It's just one of those, God fucking damn it. I
Something clicked.
Yeah, I do not want anybody's version of me in their head to be what I feel I'm not. And I can't control that.
Yes. Mm-mm.
So the urge in
That's tough to
me,
live with.
yeah, it is tough
Mhm.
to live with, because I know the version of them, the version of me in their head is this person,
And
this point in time,
uh-huh.
this person that I was this point in time.
Mhm.
And say we haven't been in contact for a year or a couple years, and I'm
Mhm.
not that person. I am far
Mhm.
from that person. I've grown, I've changed, I've healed, I have made amends, I have done the things, I've done the work. So I am light years away from that version of myself.
Mhm.
But that's the version that they have. That's the version they hold on to. And when my name is spoken, that's the version that is recalled. It's like having
Sure.
an update on a computer program. They have version 2, and I'm at
Mm.
version, 5.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is new and improved and better and great and all this stuff. All you have to do is upgrade. All you have to do is just, purchase and make the upgrade.
It's people's version of you in their head is like Windows Millennium.
Oh, fuck.
And my and Mike
I
and Microsoft's like, "I fixed it. Trust me. I fixed it.
listen,
Please."
I was not that bad. I was bad, but I was not Windows Millennium bad.
What?
No, 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 take that back.
I meant
I will take a lot of things, but I was not Windows Millennium bad.
you correct. You did not have that many bugs. The point
Yeah,
was
I
that
was
it's a
clean.
different.
I
The
got
point
tested.
is okay. Okay, you were XP, which actually was pretty solid. But
I know. Okay, I'll take XP. XP was
yeah, there you
buggy,
go.
but I'll take XP. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's like. People. That's the last Windows operating system people had, and they switched to Mac. And Microsoft's like, I've changed. I'm different. I'm not the same OS that I
Vista.
was.
Oh,
Vista.
ooh. You know what? I'll take that. I was not Windows Millennium bad. I was
You were
Vista bad
Vista.
because I wasn't as great as XP. So you know
Yeah,
what? The Vista's right there in the middle. I'll take Windows
yeah.
Vista.
There
Oh
you go.
shit, Windows Vista.
We got really nerdy really fast.
We talked about Spock last week. That's fine.
We did a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Time
I
answer.
so it's one of those, and it's
Yeah.
like I said, um, when okay. And so today's topic is new and improved. Are you new and improved, or are you just at a place where you're you're just going, if you're going to take me, this is as is. So what are you how are you selling yourself? Which it's like
Ooh.
when you're having a relationship with people, especially when one that
Mhm.
has known you in the past or a new person, are you telling how are you presenting yourself? I'm new and improved. Same Anna, just great all the great, like
Mhm.
all the improvements that you wanted? Or are you approaching it as, this is who I am, this is what you get, you know what you're buying into,
Mhm.
and come hell or high water, this is what you get? And which do you think is one better than the other?
That's a good question.
Ha!
Um,
See, I have good ideas.
you do oh, you have terrific ideas. New and improved only makes sense. New and improved only ha has a positive effect when there is a baseline or when there's a previous to compare to. Telling someone you've never met that I'm new and improved doesn't really land because they're like, "Compared to what?" Um, have you ever met someone and kinda wish that they knew something about who you were so that you could show that you're new and improved? Like, "This is who I used to be." Oh my
But
like,
see, you're asking the wrong
it
person, Pep. You're asking the wrong person. I put all
uh-huh.
my shit out on the internet.
That's true, you do.
First off, I
That
put
you
my
do.
shit out on the internet. I am probably the first person
Yeah.
that within the first 2 conversations will tell you pretty much everything about me,
Mhm.
especially when they start talking about, "Oh, you're so honest and open and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Let me tell
Mhm.
you about what I want
Oh,
how
oh, you're perfect.
let me tell you about that my journey, how I got here before
Yeah.
you get the wrong idea and put me on that motherfucking pedestal and in that tower and like I am all these things." No.
Mhm.
I worked very hard to get
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say I'm the as is.
Are you though?
Um,
No, I don't believe that. And
you don't think so? No,
how
you're right, you're right. Because 'cause
yeah,
I'm the golden child. I'm the golden child, so
yeah,
I'm always
rethink that
trying to
statement.
polish. I'm always trying to polish.
You never
Um,
show what as is. You never like I like nevers are strong. Okay. And we try not to use never always.
yeah,
You very rarely go, here's my shit.
that's a good point, you're right.
Even with your friends.
But that's true. But am I showing new and improved either?
Yes, you are.
Yeah?
Look at
Okay.
because how many times have you gotten upset with me when I have
Oh,
said
no,
something
you're right,
and
you're
you're like,
right.
no,
Nope,
look at
you're
all the
right.
work that I have done.
Yes, yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, yeah, that especially if you do come at me, if you throw a never or always
I know.
in our
I'm terrible about
conversations,
that.
no, it's okay. So you throw those out there, and what makes it see that gets a reaction from
All
me
right, keep
like that.
talking. I'll
You
be right
say
back. BRB.
when someone says when if I'm especially if we're in a disagreement or something, if someone says never or always, that immediately triggers me, and we stop talking about what we're supposed to be talking about, the concern or whatever that's brought up, and and I start defending myself to against the always and never. So that is the quickest way for me to derail in a conversation. And so I start thinking never always gets thrown out there, and in my head I'm going, and I start thinking of all the times where that doesn't apply. So that's when she said new and improved. That's what I thought about was, yeah, yeah, but I used to do this and I don't do that anymore. I used to do this, or this is a time when I did something different. And so I throw that out there, and that's yeah. So I would definitely say you're right. I show new and improved. Big sticker on my box.
New and improved.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's one of those why is my urge to try to prove that I am better, that I am different? Why is that such a
Mhm.
big urge? And I guess I am talking about this because it is not something it is something I don't know. It is something that I
Mhm.
question. It is something that of like this is an urge. This is an urge. This is a thought inside my head. Well, I want to prove to them that I'm not the same. And then whatever part in me is like putting up, those I have because I have like putting up all of those times when I was that I felt embarrassment or shame about my behavior, about what I did, how I felt bad, and it's like replaying that in
Mhm.
my head, And I want to go back and I'm like, okay, I know and to make amends and I want to like prove I'm not the same. But what is my end goal in that? Do I want this person back in my life? Is me being back in that person's life? Like, and why is that so important to me?
When you're trying to prove to them that you are different, are you honestly trying to prove it to them or are you trying to prove it to yourself?
Ooh, bitch. I don't know. Pip asking, answer that question for me, huh?
I was gonna say that when I say you, I mean the royal you, because that absolutely applies to myself because I do the same. I've felt the same thing. Like I felt the same thing about my ex. Is like, I'm a different person now.
Yeah.
And wanting to show that. But I think there's a lot of validity to that statement. That's where it came from. Is I think a big part of it is proving it to ourselves that we are different. Um, and so just going off, um, just just out of the blue, deciding to do that, like again, without the therapist saying, "I think that you should do this." Us trying to just do it ourselves is us trying to prove something that we are different and trying to correct. We're trying in a way. We're almost trying to manipulate them. We're trying to control how they see us.
Ooh, you right. You right.
Why does that matter?
Why is that important?
As my therapist would say, "So what?
Oh,
What if
oh,
they do?"
yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, what if they see me like that? So what? What if they do?
And then they hit you with the,
Oh,
so what if they don't?
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right when you're ready to answer the one, they flip it, and then you're like, "Whoa. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. I
What
was
about
not
that?
no.
What
I'm
about
not
that?
okay
You
with
can
that."
sit in there,
Yeah.
supper into your fucking paycheck. That's what you sometimes that's
Oh
when
my
you
god.
get there and you're like, I don't need you to be good, you goddamn job.
Yeah. Yeah. My therapist, my
Well, he's not new anymore. You've had it for over a year.
Well, yeah, I caught myself. Yeah, he's not new anymore, but this because I've had 3. I've had 3. So, yeah, this guy's really good. This guy's the youngest of them all, but he's far better in this part of he's far better in this part of my journey, I should say.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna qualify
I
that.
think that that's where I'm at with after meeting with my new therapist because mine is actually new. Like I
Mhm.
just did my intake on
Yeah,
Friday. Um, which I'll tell that story in a minute. I'll tell that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Just remind me in a minute. Um, is y- when you're doing this journey and you're going through and you're getting to that point. I could have said iOS and really been insulting. I mean, anyway. um, so after the intake and every therapist is different, just like because they're different people and they're different specialties and all this stuff. And so you never know what you're getting. You never know, like you're just sometimes they are just a name in your insurance. And yeah. And so I was really nervous. But after she's like, okay, here's what I do. And talking with that, and she goes, and okay, here's where I see us going after talking about this. And I went, oh, she's gonna make me hurt. Oh, she's gonna make me hurt hard because my other one, she was nice and we did deal with the trauma and she was what I needed at that time. She that
Mhm,
the sort of the she helped me with my trauma, but in the way she approached it was a very gentle approach. It was very
mhm,
my wounds were open and bleeding in a very, nursing type of way. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's do this. Let's all these things. And she helped me through that. But now I'm at a point where, okay, I know where my wounds are. I know how they hurt. There are some wounds in there that I don't know yet. But now it's time for me. I don't need the kitten gloves anymore. I have been in this journey for 2 years. I've been doing the work. I've laid my foundation. I've even started to build the frame with my old there. Now it's time to do all of the hard shit. Like, let's, all of the hard shit. And just when you think it couldn't get harder, just when you think that,
mhm.
okay, I've done the hard work, everything now is just like maintenance. It was when she started talking to me and I was like, oh, this is gonna be, this is gonna, this is, didn't think it could get harder, but here we are. But
Yeah,
I think that's
you're
what
good.
I need
Mhm.
right now. Because I think with my I loved my old therapist, but I think it got to the point where it's like I started being complacent.
Ooh, yeah.
And so
That's
now
yeah, that's absolutely a thing. Yeah.
now now I she's like, "Okay, we're gonna do XYZ. And are you okay with reading? Are you okay with journaling? Are you okay with homework?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Look at it." She goes, "Are you okay with journaling?" I literally went, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
might be. Here's this
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
ignore the 4 other notebooks that are over here. I might be a little bit." She's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
She goes, "Okay, well, we're gonna do this one, but before that, we're gonna do this one. And just to warn you, this first book that I suggested that I said we're not getting into right now, even I had a hard time getting through it." Fantastic. So great.
Wow! You're gonna be moving some weights. As Kelvina said, you're moving on to the heavyweights. The the analogy between your emotional fitness journey and your physical fitness journey, the parallels are just tremendous. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You've moved into a point where you need someone who is going to push you in a different way. So, wow. Almost got that deer in the headlight.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I do.
oh god.
But it's when they ask that question because I spend my time
Hmm.
asking myself, like this morning, I was sitting here thinking to myself, I was like, this list of people that I just wish I could go back and show them
Hmm.
how improved I am, how much stronger, how I'm a different person. And I think that there's a part of there is a part of me that is wanting to heal the wounds that I created in them so that I can soothe the shame and guilt of being that person that created that wound.
Because if they're okay, you're okay.
God fucking damn it, motherfucker.
I know, I totally get it. I
Just
do.
when you think you're over that shit, you're not over that shit.
Mm-mm. It's still there. Yeah. Well, it's like you're renovating the house and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna take down this drywall. And then you take it down and you realize there's something underneath that drywall that's got to be dealt with as well.
Termites, mold.
Yeah. And that is always the harder one. Like the drywall, okay, it was pretty easy to demo the drywall, but this cleanup underneath it, ooh, this is gonna and it's gonna take and it's gonna take another person, it's gonna take another expert to come in
More
and
time.
work
It's
through
gonna take
that.
more time.
More
You just when you think, okay, I'm just gonna take this drywall, it'll be an easy fix. Like this doesn't seem so bad. I just take it down. But you
yeah.
don't realize that there was a reason that you have to take down the drywall, which is pretty much lying underneath
Mhm.
the drywall,
Mhm. Yeah.
making
Uh
amends. Are you asking what
y-
making amends? Like what is that? Or are you asking is
are
that
you asking me specifics or in
yeah.
general?
Um oh
The
I
the
think
shame and guilt. No, I get the shame and guilt about how you treated people. No, let's say you again, how I because I feel the same way how I treated people.
yeah.
Um, you're just like because I feel such shame and guilt for what I did.
Oh look, Calvina's got it. I know,
Wow,
I know
I
Calvina's
saw
got
that
it.
pop up and Calvino
No,
was
I
on
know.
it.
Like whenever Calvina's in the chat, I don't worry. He's the
Yeah,
moderator. He is the
woo,
super moderator right there.
he
Um,
did. I didn't even finish reading it. All right. Yeah.
um, is that what you wanted to do as part of your healing journey, making amends? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is part of my healing journey. But here is the thing, because actually I've been the victim of. I hate victim. Okay, I have been a survivor of somebody's addiction. I guess I don't know how do you say that? Because I don't like
Uh,
being a victim of somebody's addiction because I can't. I
no,
mean, but
I think Survivor is apt.
um, so one of the and I have learned from them because they do 12 steps. Is one of the steps, which is difficult to do, is making amends to make amends, to admit and go and confront the harm that you did. But there's a caveat on that is making, and it's a continuation, making amends if and only it doesn't cause more harm. So sometimes you're not able to make amends because you trying to make trying to make up and heal that journey for yourself maybe is going to actually open up and damage that other person if they're not in that place.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that was one of the things, like I said, it's my urge to go and just make everybody feel. I want to show that I am accountable and that I have fixed myself and that I am sorry and that I am apologizing. But I did that in the very beginning of my journey. I like, oh, I'm gonna like tell them I'm sorry and I'm gonna do all these things. What I realized I was doing was I was hurting them more than I was helping, like I was healing our relationship and healing them. And it was very damaging. Now, it was even more damaging to them and to me and to the relationship or memory or whatever it was. It was more
Hmm.
damaging than it was healing. And then I end up frustrated. They end up bleeding, emotionally bleeding everywhere. And then you end up worse off than when you started because you wanted to, and I had the best of intentions.
Hmm.
But the reality is if they're not in a place, maybe they don't want to ever make amends. And that is a really hard thing to come. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you in my life. I don't want to, like, I don't need you. And the reality is that's their journey. And you can't do anything about that. And the only thing that I can do as this person who's working on my own healing is just like I said at the very beginning. Okay, I want to go contact these people and show them I'm new and improved. But if I'm new and improved, then I will not force myself on them. If I'm new and improved, if I am that, then I will absolutely deal with my actions, how I felt about that, how I feel about that, accepting that I have done something bad, forgive myself because that's important too, but not forcing forgiveness from somebody else and just sitting in the discomfort that they might never want to forgive me. And then sitting in the discomfort and willingness, if they do want to forgive me, if they do need closure, to be able to sit and not defend myself. Not wanting to sit and defend myself by going, but I'm not that person anymore. Regardless of whether you're that person now, does not excuse how you hurt them back then. And sitting in that discomfort of reliving and being willing to listen to them and their story and their side of it, taking accountability for what you can, having a healthy discussion that isn't defensive. Fucking blows.
And this is why we said at the beginning, consult your therapist,
Yep.
because everything that you just explained, which is extremely insightful, that is not something that you may be ready for. You may want to go make amends, but you may not be in the place in your journey to do that in a healthy way.
Right.
Your therapist will, if your therapist says, "Hey, I think this is a good idea," that's one thing. But if you just go, "I'm going to do this," everything that you just said could absolutely happen, and things could be so much worse
Oh yeah.
than when you thought about.
Re-traumatizing yourself, causing new trauma. It's a
And
slippery
re-trauma
slope.
and re-traumatizing the other people. Oh god, yeah, absolutely.
But okay,
Everything that you just
we
said.
talked about the
Mhm.
new and improved part of the
Okay.
today's topic. Now, let's talk about the
Mhm.
as is part.
Ooh.
Okay, you
Okay.
ready? So, Sean, you and I both know we're perfectionists because of our
Uh-huh.
trauma. We are people pleasers. We
Uh-huh.
are over there, don't be flawed. I was me because I was the black sheep, and you because you were the golden child. So,
Yep. Yep.
it's like casting fireball early in the game. That's right. It's like seducing the dragon on your first roll. What the hell are you doing? Like, don't, like, nah, nah. Um, but
You caught the dragon. Now what are you gonna do with the dragon? Really?
you're walking along, and all of a sudden, there's a dragon in the road. What do? Don't seduce the
Don't
dragon.
seduce.
um, so you and I both are like we project, and you talked about this at the very beginning here about how you try to gloss over the imperfections and all of this. And we
Mm-hmm.
do. We try to come off as these perfect people, but we're not. And we're working, both of
Mm-hmm.
you and I are working on that in therapy.
Yeah.
Like, so we're meeting new people. How, like, are you trying to, like, do you over I okay, let me speak for myself. When I meet new people, I am now sort of almost overcompensated.
That
Me
makes sense.
overcompensating, stop it, where it's like, oh, okay, no, here, let me lay out all of my trauma and shit. Let me lay out all of my scars, all of my triggers, all of my shit. And like, if you still want to be my friend, or you want, like, you're interested after that, if you still want to be around after you see all this shit, have at it. And it's like all of a sudden you're totally ignoring all of the good stuff.
I also feel like that's a defense mechanism. I'm gonna lay all this stuff out. So if you reject me, I want you to reject me now if you're gonna reject me. So let's go ahead and get it over with.
Ew, Sean, why are you being so insightful today? You
I
go
don't know.
sit in the corner. Go sit in your pep corner.
I'm sorry. This is again new and improved Pep Pep. Whether you like it or not.
Go sit in your pep corner and wait till your Werther's is finished.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
Yeah,
avoid the
I mean
innuendo. All right.
that was very
Um,
insightful. I make jokes, but that was
yeah,
very insightful.
but no, but I get that wanting to just put it out there, and see for me, I get it, but I don't do that. Like I'm the opposite. I'm like I'm gonna hide this as much as I possibly can because if I let it out, if I let any of it out, you're gonna reject me, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want, especially not now. Like new person rejection, I don't want to. No, heck no. So I'm gonna hide it all.
Which is worse, new person rejection or established friendship rejection?
I have just as big of a problem. Actually, I think I have more of a problem with new person rejection.
Oh, really?
Some people some people meet new people. Like they'll say anything to a new person because it's a new person. Like especially if they're in a big place. Let's say we go to a con. They will say anything because like I won't see this person again. This is a new person and they don't know who I am, so I'll just do
Hey,
whatever I
we're
want
on
to
a
do. I don't care what
quest.
they
Can
say.
you roll these dice for
Exactly right.
me? No, Pep. You sound
But
like a serial killer.
run this day. Can you? Okay. But I don't see that's not me though. Like being rejected by a complete stranger is just as painful for me.
Oh,
Like I okay, here's an example. I have a problem doing pugs in online games. A pug is a pickup group. So it's you jump in with a bunch of random people to do something, right? I don't even like joining pugs because of the potential rejection from that. These people that don't even know me, that may not have even heard my voice, depending on what game we're playing, saying, "Well, you suck at this game." L2P, like that rejection bothers me. But that might be more getting to rejection sense of dysphoria as opposed to
yeah.
laying
I was
stuff
actually
out there.
just thinking at that. But you also have
Yeah,
ADD, so that people with ADD
that
also
lines
have
up.
a
Yeah,
high amount, like a higher
yeah,
percentage of having rejection sensitivities for you. So,
yeah. I want people. Yeah, no, I tend to hide the stuff. Even, but whether or not, ooh, so I'm sorry. Going back to the original question, is it worse for new people to new people to see who I am and reject me, or existing people? Ooh, I don't know.
It can be
I
both.
just know that I
Why? It doesn't
don't.
have to be
Yeah,
either
you're
or.
right.
It can
You're
be
right. You're
both.
right. I
Just
just know that the person, the part that I present to new people is typically polished.
do y'all remember
The
polished Arugs?
yeah, I know it's on YouTube. You guys can go watch it if you want.
Oh my god, polished Arugs. I look back on that too, like 4 years ago, and I'm like, Jesus, Mary, and fucking Joseph. Like,
If you
oh,
want to see new and improved Arugs,
if you
go
want to
back
see
and
what
watch.
you want to see, the evolution of Arugs, yeah, definitely going. That's just, like I'm like, oh god. Uh, um, I think you're right. It's a defense mechanism for me. I think honestly now it's because I tried to present that polished to avoid rejection, and now I am doing the whole here's my shit rejection since. Oh.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, 100%, Eric. I completely agree with you. Oh, it
Yeah.
sucks, and
Oh,
yeah, for that reason.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're all of us are here
Oh,
like, yes.
oh,
Yeah.
come
Yeah. Yeah, I
on,
got you.
yeah.
Got you.
Mm.
Yeah. And
So you,
I used to
mhm.
put on that polish. I used to put on that whole demeanor, like for real. Y'all go back and watch that shit. It's almost.
Yeah.
And I did a reaction video like one night. I was just bored on a Friday, and
Mhm.
I did that. Like, let's watch all my some of my old videos, and I was like, um, and I did put that on. And I think like I said, I think I overcompensated. And I think it's like now my defense mechanism is not me being perfect and trying to be polished in this person. It's like, here's my shit. Like again, like you said, if you're gonna reject me now. And you like
Mhm.
and I think it's almost like I think it's almost banking an argument, a winning argument. Why are you complaining about this? Why are you complaining about X and Y and Z when I told you up front X, Y, and Z? You already knew about it, so you don't get to complain about it, which is invalidating.
I was waiting for a moment to bring up the as is has a negative and unhealthy underbelly
Yep.
because as is can be easily weaponized. And you said it absolutely right there. That's one way. Well, this is who I am. These unhealthy behaviors is just me. This is my personality. Suck it up. That's the unhealthy as is side of things.
I have done and been victim of both of that. That sucks.
Mhm.
This is who I
It's
am.
one
You
thing to
just gotta
go,
accept it.
it's one thing to go, this is who I am right now. I am on a journey. This is who I am right now. Here, this is me. This is me so you know understand who I am. But doesn't mean this is going to be me 6 months from now. This is who I am right now. And this is who I am, and you have to deal with it. It's your problem.
But see, making it their problem about something that you are doing, oh, it's just sort of bitch
See,
motherfucker.
there it is.
Oh,
One is this is who I am, and it's my responsibility to deal with that. And this is who I am, and it's your responsibility to deal with it. Very different.
I have done both. I have experienced both. God, fucking
So have I.
damn it.
So have I. Because I pulled, we've talked about this before. I have played the I'm ADD, deal with it card. I
Really?
still do.
Mhm,
I still do sometimes.
mhm,
Yes, yes, I do.
mhm.
Ugh.
Hey, you pulled it just Friday.
And anyone that's ADD has probably done. Anyone that's got any has been diagnosed, whether self-diagnosed or not, has done that. Hey, Calvin, you don't get many rants from Pep Pep, but there's your rant. Um,
He is very
but yeah,
intelligent when I let him speak.
no, no, not when you let me speak. When I do speak,
Oh, look
you
at
don't.
you.
We're co-hosts. Um,
I love pushing his buttons, y'all. I love it.
uh-huh. She does. She does it all
I've
the
been doing it since
time.
before we logged on. Like fucking shit. You
She
should have
does.
known. You should have known that that was gonna come out. And look at him. He's all like,
I should have.
"Arr." I'm like, dude, just like,
Indignant pep pep.
yeah. He's doing,
Uh,
I'm a co-host. I speak whatever I want. Yeah, dude. It was. if you if you honestly believe that is how I think you need to go, you need to write that down for your next therapy session. Like, come on, dude.
uh, uh, so I do declare.
Look at both of
Oh my
them,
god.
both Calvino and Jay. They're like, "Oh, he's such a good boy."
See, and it's not just a ruse that likes to push the button. The whole community.
See, yeah. Get all
Mhm.
sassy. Well, get all bratty. We'll put you in your place. You ain't doming anybody right now.
You'll you'll lock me in the brig. It's fine. Uh, so what were we talking about? As
As
it
is, as
as
is,
is. Being as is, yeah.
and using it and weaponizing it.
Yeah. So I think for anyone that does take the as is, that when I think that's an important question to ask yourself. What do you do with that? Where are you going with that? Whose responsibility is as is? Oh, wow. Why y'all trying to down Pep Pep? What's up with this?
Let's be real honest. If we're gonna choose one dom of the entire team AOA, it's gonna be Jay.
You think so? I mean,
Pep it ain't you. I know you want it to be. I know you're trying, like you're over there. You're like, nah. You got like, I know that prickles you a little bit, but it ain't you. It ain't you.
mhm. Oh my god. Thanks, Gavina, for clipping that. That's fantastic. Great.
I love you, but it ain't you.
Ah,
And
wow, is
we're
it getting warm in here? What is up with my AC? Oh my god.
I think that okay, I think that as is very much like vulnerability in that
Mhm.
we've had it weaponized against us, but as is and y'all gotta stop derailing me like that. That's funny shit. Um, as is very important. And I think as is very important for me in my mental healing. It might not be for other people, but it is for me in my mental healing and my journey because it's learning to accept as I am. Because I'm not over here going, okay, this is who I am right now. This is who I am. As is with all my flaws and all of my good points, all of the things that make me that are great and wonderful and admirable. But here are all the things that make
Mhm.
me a little hurt and sometimes toxic and intimidating and all these things bad, there's no good
Mhm.
and bad, but all these things that also are negative. And
Mhm.
if I'm not trying to cover up this. Let me sell you a used car, but tell you it's brand new. It's
Mhm.
very much going, this is who I am, flaws and all, warts and all.
Mhm.
Yeah, Oliver Cromwell. But my history nerd put out in there. Um, this is who I am, flaws and
Mhm.
everything else. And like you said, and I might be different. I might have new flaws a year from now, but I might have healed my old ones. but this is as I am
Mhm.
right now. And I have to accept myself as I am right now, as is, not better, not worse, just as I am. And that's how I want people to see me, as is right now. And that's okay. And that's being okay. Being okay with being who you are and stop trying to force yourself to be better. Because I spend a lot of my time going, why am I not better yet? Why have I not fixed this yet?
Mm.
Why am I not here yet? I've done all this work. I've done all this legwork. Why am I not healed? First off, let's be honest, I have a mental illness. I will never be healed. And coming to that
Mhm.
conclusion of I will never be healed. And that sucks. And going, accepting that this is where I am right now. I can be new and improved and still be as is.
Ooh, that's good.
For those of you who can't see,
Mhm.
Jay goes, "Welcome to Honest Reviews Used People Lot. They may have a few dents and dings and the occasional leak, but they are reliable when you treat them right and keep up with the maintenance." Facts.
There you go.
But I think that both
Yeah.
are important.
I think you're right. I think, the as is, the connotation of as is here's all the flaws with a, without any focus on the positives. You're at I think a lot of people take that approach, especially in something like a dating profile. Think about because dating profiles the same way. Am I new and improved or am I as is? And people will say, I don't want I don't want this and I don't want that and I don't want this and I don't want that. That's all the ways that you've been hurt. What do you want?
Right.
So I think it's important. I think it's easy to fall into the as is, these are the flaws, but here's all the good stuff.
But like you were talking about, as is can be weaponized. So can new and improved be weaponized?
Oh yeah.
Hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hmm.
Like that whole defensive, oh, that's mean by selling a used car and saying it's new.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yes.
degree to which it's improved, absolutely.
Selling people a too
Yep.
good version of your, and that's it. And honestly, Eric, like I
Mhm,
used to that was my MO. That was my mode of
mhm,
operation. That is what I would do because there was so underneath the surface. What I didn't realize is I had um an undiagnosed mental illness. I had a lot of very deep abandonment wounds, very deep trauma wounds that I didn't deal with. That what I
mhm,
was doing was instead of dealing with all the foundation stuff, I was just putting a new coat of
mhm.
paint on it. Oh, you want a pink car? Here you go. I am this pink
Yeah.
car, which on if you look up people with BPD actually do this a lot. That's why it's very they don't have a sense of self. Which I
Mhm,
didn't for a very long time, and I still don't. I'm still struggling with that sense of self because they would adapt themselves to whoever, which
mhm.
I used to take pride in that. I'm a chameleon. I can be whoever I
That was
want
your
with that was
superpower.
my superpower. What I realized it wasn't a superpower, it was my trauma. And so trying to sell myself as something that I wasn't and spending a lot of time and that's what I'm working on right now. And I think that maybe that's why this question has been really sitting hard on my brain right now
Mhm,
is because it's like, "Oh, I'm rebuilding this person. I am rebuilding this person from scrap pretty much." And but I want to prove that look, that it's not a shitty car anymore. But I really wasn't. I think that I what I have to realize is that I wasn't a shitty person. I was a person who did shitty things.
big difference between that.
And that excuse the shitty things that I did and the hurt that I caused? Absolutely fucking not. I still did shitty things.
Mhm.
But a shitty person does things to purposely hurt somebody. And the reason that I'm feeling the shame and the guilt now is because I wasn't a shitty person. And now that I am healing, I recognize that I wasn't a shitty person like I had led myself to believe. But I
Mhm.
did shitty things out of a need of some sort. I was trying to fill a
Yeah.
need and
Mhm.
soothe my trauma. And again, does not excuse the fact that I did shitty
Yeah.
things.
Mhm.
I do. I do.
Mhm.
Um uh,
And just sorry, go ahead.
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just like when you're a child and you act a certain way, you act out. It's because it's the only thing that you know to do. It doesn't matter what point in your life, in where you are, where you are in your journey. That's what you knew to do. You knew if I did this, I felt a certain way. I could soothe myself by doing this,
Mhm,
and so you did it,
mhm.
and you weren't trying to hurt anybody. You were trying to soothe your wounds, and that's all you knew to do because it worked. Um,
Healthy or not, because nobody taught you any different.
yeah.
You were out to survive.
Especially in the way we grew up. Because for us, what we were told to do was to pray about it or to read the Bible or like all that kind of those kind of things that like don't do anything when when we need help, when we're having trouble.
Right.
So, yeah, you and I, we both I did the same thing. I did things that it's hard for me not to judge myself
Oh, absolutely.
for what I did.
Oh, absolutely.
And my therapist has to keep reminding me, "You did what you knew to do at the time. You did the best you could with what you had at the
All
time."
of my therapists have said that at some point to me.
Yeah.
It's been one of those you have to remember, yes, okay, what you did hurt somebody else. Yes.
Mhm.
Left a wound, left the damage. You left damage in your wake. Say my
Mhm.
ex girlfriend, so many parallels to autism. Yes. Yes. It's difficult, and I didn't realize what it was, and then once I started actually, when I started actually working on it and understanding what I was dealing with, um, and the problem is, well, not the problem, but the thing is like, BPD is broken up also into 4 different types, and so I have quiet BPD, which is all they internalize everything, and,
Mhm.
so a lot of times it gets undiagnosed for so long because it's not an outward it was not it's a lot of times the volatile and stuff, it's like it's very noticeable in like their mood swings and all of this stuff, but the type that I have, I internalize everything. So so it's hard to diagnose um until it's not. Until it's not hard to diagnose.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I think I did the shitty thing to survive. And I think that there's a part of me that in this healing journey, I want to go back and I want to tell these people, even though I don't like my life is good without them. I don't want them back in my life. Like my life is fine without them. Why do I have this need to because I want to it's almost like I want to make it so that I'm not a shitty person. Like, there's a part of me, it's like, "I did it to survive. It wasn't you. It wasn't you." Like, I want to heal you by the fact that I'm getting healed, and I can't do that. Just because I was surviving doesn't mean that I didn't do damage. Just like the things
Mhm.
that people have done to me, AKA my mom, my family,
Mhm. Mhm.
they were just surviving too. They were doing all they knew.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean that the damage wasn't done.
that's correct.
It's like crashing a car.
You can feel bad about it all you want. It's damage still done. It's a good point.
And that's hard. And I think that there is a part of me that still I have to remember. It's not my job. As people pleasers and fixers
Ooh,
and
yes.
former white
Mhm.
knights, We want to
Yes.
fix all the problems, and we can do that. All we
God.
know exactly how to fix it. We just need the opportunity to fix it when that's
If they would if they would just let me fix it.
right.
That's the yeah, fit yeah, recovering
So
white knight, that is the
so fun fact, folks, you
oh,
still get the urge to white knight even when you're in even when you're in therapy and you're in healing and recovery. So, um,
the
I
difference
always
is the recognition.
I always have new
Mhm,
epiphanies, right, with my sisters, the petulant kind.
mhm,
I don't say it, but that's what I think. Yeah, and a lot of people when
mhm,
I started, when I first got diagnosed and I started actually working on it, and they're like, "But you don't seem," I was like, "A lot of people with mental illnesses don't seem that way."
yeah,
And the kind because of the way my trauma and it's all about I mean, we all suffer BPD is a trauma-based mental illness. You cannot
mhm,
have BPD without a trauma point. That
mhm,
is medical, that is fact. Look it up. Like that I can say. Um, but it's all in how the person internalizes and then takes that trauma and how it manifests itself in you. And
mhm,
like some people with PTSD, you can drop a loud book and they hit the floor and they go into a full panic. You can drop a floor and not anything, but that doesn't mean they don't have PTSD. Maybe it's something else that triggers them.
mhm, yeah,
So yeah, and it's hard. I think, and there's a part of the part of me that just wants to go back and just heal everything. I think I'm still working on that part. I think that part still I've got a lot to work on, which I have a feeling that my new therapist is gonna make me do, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. What
yeah.
about you, Pep Pep?
I get the urge to go back and present that side, and like I said, I've even thought about it with my ex. Is like, look, I'm a different person. Like, but is that now? I had previous therapists that said that might be a good idea, but I also don't think in that point of my journey I was necessarily ready for it either. So, um, it's understanding the motivation behind it. Why do I want to do that?
Why do you feel you're not
Um,
ready?
well, it's not that I don't feel like I'm. It's not that I don't feel like I'm ready now. My therapist also hasn't said anything. Hasn't brought it up.
But
Of
have
course,
you brought it up?
maybe it's my job. I was about to say maybe it's my job to bring it up.
How often do you talk about
Um.
your ex? I'm just
Oh. But it depends. But the last couple sessions, a lot. I'm still dealing with stuff that
What?
was created or exacerbated by my ex. Right? I mean, yeah. um. It's yeah. I for me thinking like going through the stuff with my ex, a lot of that has been realizing that I am not who I thought I was during that time.
Really?
I'm not the golden child during that time. I was not simply the victim during that time. And that has been a tough thing to accept, or that has been a tough thing to hear, and then to learn to accept. Um, that I did a lot of stuff wrong. I had a lot of unhealthy behaviors at that time.
Yeah.
Um, and that uh, I had I had gotten to I had not only did I present myself as the victim and I did the right stuff and she just I actually created an identity around that. I had created an identity around being the victim of my marriage. Um, yeah. Um, So there, yeah, there's a lot. I was married for officially, I think, 15 years. So it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack and go through.
I th- I think I think that that's also a coping mechanism too.
Which part?
The villainizing somebody else
Oh yeah,
and making your personality around that, like making your identity around that.
and I very much did that. I had the stories. I had the stories so curated after several years of retelling and retelling. Like, yeah, I mean, I worked it. I worked it like, I was on a stage.
Okay, I'm going to say this
Mhm.
because this might be difficult for you. So you do feel
Okay.
absolutely free to say no. I'm not. I do not want to do that. Okay, I'm giving you permission.
Okay.
It's okay for you to say no.
Okay.
Um, but I am curious. What is one of those stories? You can feel free to say no, or you're not comfortable.
Um.
No one will judge you. No one will think less of you if you don't want to say. I'm telling you this. I'm actually talking to the person in your head that's like trying to say, "Well, I gotta do it," 'cause yeah, no, you do not have to do it if you do not feel
Yeah.
comfortable.
Um.
Oh, Eric.
Uh. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Especially
It
when you
is.
grew up in uh the type of culture that we did where you married once and you didn't divorce and that was your soulmate, that was the one person that God made for you. That was you have one and only person for the rest of your life and you made it work regardless. No matter what, you sucked it up and you did it.
Hmm.
And honestly, um it's really hard because when you're ending a marriage or you're ending like that or a committed relationship, because some people live together for like 20 years and don't get married, but you're
Hmm.
in that type of committed relationship. Not only are you end up going through a grieving period and like a severe like something has died because something did die.
Hmm.
I mean, and breakups are hard and you do go through that grieving period. And yes, like I'm not invalidating that feeling either, but it's a when you have dedicated and committed your life to somebody else to building a life with this person, your
Hmm.
idea is not, oh, we're dating or we're together and oh, it didn't like, but like you're building a life. And especially if you've been together for 10, 15 years, or
Hmm.
you like for me, I have kids with this person. I built a life with this person.
Yes. Yes.
And when it's over, you're mourning
Yes.
the death of that life that you built,
All of that.
the life that you
Mhm.
wanted, the life that you were the dream that you wanted, the possibilities, everything is gone,
Yep.
and the person that you were in that marriage is gone. It's gone,
Yeah.
and there's no getting it
Yep.
back. I mean, you could get remarried and you could whatever, like, you could get back together, that's I'm not saying that, but it's not ever gonna be the same,
Mm.
and it's devastating. It literally levels you. Unless you're in an abusive one, and I'm not saying every marriage is like that. If you're in a bad like but you still go through that mourning period, which is why a lot of people stay in abusive relationships because they don't wanna let go of that dream and that hope. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
They're not willing to. It is also possible for that mourning period to occur long before the divorce or the separation. It doesn't always happen at the moment you get separated, at the moment you get divorced. It can very much happen years before. There's a point where you have decided it is dead, and then you go through that grieving process, and then after that, it's just a matter of logistics,
Yeah, but you
whatever that
still go
looks
through
like
the
for you.
grieving process because once it then because absolutely after you, like, move out and or, like, it becomes real.
Yes.
It becomes tangible.
You almost do it twice.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you're right, you're right. Yeah, I'm not saying that you're right. I'm not saying that you don't do it then, but yeah, it's for so I was unofficially separated for 2 years. We still, which by that I mean we lived in the same house. That there you go. There's one of the stories. That's one of the stories.
Before
Um,
you go into the story, Eric says,
yeah.
as kids, we probably all made fun of those adults say in movies who didn't keep quiet about previous marriages. After my first traumatic breakup, I ask, how on earth do divorcees cope? That's superhuman strength. Um, you,
Ooh.
some
You want me
people
to?
don't.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's one thing you see in the movies. Like some people don't. Like and they can go on to date other people. They can go on to get married to other people, and then some people. But if their ex spouse moves on, but their ex spouse, they're always a whore or an asshole or
Hmm.
whatever. And like some people just don't cope. But it is leveling. It's leveling, and that's the best way I could put it. I think it was leveling for me. Um, in that I'm gonna have to rebuild again.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's nothing wrong with that because in that I in in that ending, in the separation, in the finally being face to face with first off, because I'm in joint therapy. And so it's like and coming face to face with that and my responsibility in that and not being the I'm the victim and we're gonna go into this and I'm gonna be like, oh, he's gonna figure out all this shit that he did wrong but the reality is that all of a sudden I'm figuring out all this shit that I did wrong and I'm like, god fucking damn it. It is leveling and it is hard, but you come out of it if you get the help that you need. um I have a story about that, Eric.
Yeah.
If you get the help that you
Hmm.
need and you go through the right type of therapy and you get through the right and you have the right mindset in that, you go through the pain, but you grow from it and you become a better person. And in a way, so do they. And you get to regrow and you get to grow better and stronger, and that's okay. You learn, and if done well, like you learn how to communicate better. You learn how to love in a healthy way because there's a lot of times you weren't loving in a healthy way, and
That's
you
correct.
learn and take accountability for your part in it, and hopefully you're able to also help them in their journey too because you both have committed. You both were in hand to hand combat every single day for probably years.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be at peace with each other when you've spent your 15 years fighting with each other. So,
Absolutely.
what's your story?
So I was, uh, I went 2 years, um, living in the same house with my ex uh, after we had decided that the marriage was over.
Mhm.
She had no job. She hadn't had a job for several years. Um, it was mostly a single income. And she was freaked out because, you know, she was ready to get divorced, but she wasn't ready to be on her own. And so the story I told is about because I'm not going to necessarily retell the story, but the story that I told was about my altruism. I was the good guy because I allowed her to stay in the house um, during all of this time, paid for her schooling, even though she had a boyfriend and all these other things that out of the goodness of my own heart, I allowed her to stay for 2 years while she got her feet up under her and got it and found and was able to move out. I polished that to make myself come off as just the best possible person, and I received the accolades from it. I received, "Oh, man, you're a better person than I am. I could never have done something like that." Like, you're that fed it. See, that's the thing is I didn't just tell the story to just tell the story. I told the story and I polished it because because it fed me. Again, it became like a stage for me. And I received that, I'm a golden child. So for me, I need to be perfect and I need everyone to think that I'm perfect and that I'm good and altruistic and blah blah blah. So I would tell that story. I would whenever someone asked, I would gladly tell the story because it was the reaction, the response I got would feed that and would perpetuate this perception of me.
But the reality was.
Yeah. The reality was I wasn't dealing with my own I wasn't dealing with myself. I was codependent. I'm a recovering codependent. Um and I wasn't ready to deal with the problems, the issues that I had. I was an enabler. I was codependent. And uh I allowed these things to happen. Um because I wasn't ready to deal with it. Was the golden child, the guilt, the unrealistic expectations. No one, yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be a
Um,
golden child.
yeah, you had a very different
I was the black sheep,
upbringing.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine.
It's being the golden child. It's, I would say, debilitating. It's
Yeah, we are.
always doing with the what?
He says
Yeah,
BPDers are often the black sheep. Yeah, we are. Actually, me
so
being black the sheep was the cause of that. So I mean, it's
yeah, it's the chicken or the egg right there.
mhm.
So yeah,
But I can't imagine.
um,
What's it like?
it's the constant need for to meet other people's expectations, um, of perfection, of doing the right thing, of knowing the right thing, of not never having a break in the armor. Yeah. So um, I played the victim for so long in my both during the relationship, the end of the relationship, and then years afterwards. It took therapy for me to deal with that. We're talking about people that have gone through divorce and where they go and how they cope. I firmly believe that if I was not in therapy during that time, that I would have made a lot of the same mistakes. Because I saw myself as the victim for so long that if I had jumped into some other long-term relationship, I would have continued to see that. I would have always seen myself as the victim, and I would have made the same mistakes.
Um, a lot of time, golden children find the black sheep
Mhm. Yep.
because they can fix them. And the black sheep go to the golden child because they need that person who validates them and gives them what they need. And it's this whole cycle
Stability.
in this whole, yeah, the stability and all of that. And
Yeah.
then it's actually a recipe for disaster. What the, oh,
It yeah. The golden child projects stability. That's part of being golden. It's like, I got everything together. I'm good.
I'll
I
fix
got
it.
this.
I
I know
got
what I'm
it. I
doing.
got it. I'll
Oh,
handle it.
yeah, I can fix it. Yeah, all of all of that brokenness, all of those issues that the black sheep is dealing with, the golden child's like, it's cool. It's cool. I got you. We're
And
good. I got you.
that's why a lot of times they're codependent. Because if you're okay, I'm okay.
And they feed each other
And they do
until
because the black
eventually,
sheep is also codependent because I was very much codependent.
yeah.
because I'm the black sheep
Yeah.
and he's the good guy. He's the one that's taking care of me. He's the stable one.
Yes.
Like he's got to be okay so that I can be okay, so that he doesn't leave me, he doesn't abandon me, that because I am too
Mhm.
broken for anybody to really love me, and he loves me, so I don't want to
Yep.
do anything wrong. And so it's this whole
Absolutely.
everyone's like
Yeah.
Eric.
And it
No, 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 Eric. Oh, it is actually it is there it is so common. It
it's
is
very common.
so common. Now, are there different variations on that? Absolutely. Different
Yeah.
variations on the golden child and black sheep. Those are actually very big umbrella statements. And if you want to go down an attachment style, it actually breaks
Mhm.
into micro categories. Um, but yeah, it's very common because it's very much they feed off of each other. They feed off of each other. The other person's
Yep.
traumas actually feed
They line up
they line up,
perfectly. They
and you
feel
think
like they line up
opposites
perfectly.
attract. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And then they completely fall apart, and
It's
it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it starts off it starts off very intense because all of a sudden, each person is getting that need met, that unhealthy need is being met, and so they immediately just bam, right together, and it's just intense, and that feeds that feeling, and what they don't realize is that they're playing chicken, like, eventually, that is going to spiral and blow up because neither of it is real. It's all about feeding the unhealthy parts that haven't been healed yet. And so, yeah, very, very common.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of times it's over time, it's an unhealthy, like, it is unhealthy, and then your traumas start resurfacing, and you realize the thing that was
Mhm.
putting you together, that the need, all of a sudden, the underlying shit, the underlying trauma actually repel each other. And so
Yeah.
it's so the things that brought you together, you have a underlying current that is much stronger, that ends up
Mhm.
triggering you and pulling you apart. And unless you are
That's
doing self-reflection, unless you're doing self-healing,
yeah.
all great until the screwdriver slips. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
you have to, and it's not saying that all relationships fall apart like that. You can absolutely, but it takes time and it takes a lot of self therapy, a lot of self reflection. It also takes a lot of accountability,
Mhm.
and it takes a lot of willingness to listen.
Mhm.
And that part of like, okay, accepting this person and not trying to change them, but in yourself going, I'm recognizing this part is butting up against this part of you. Like, sometimes there's not, but like, we can work through this, and we can grow together, sort of like, a tree growing around a wire fence. It is possible to
Mhm.
survive. You just have to adapt. And it's that willingness to adapt and grow, and that's a hard part, because that's also
It's
taking a
very
lot
hard.
of and being vulnerable. And a lot of people who aren't that way, BPD people, golden children, they suffer from this trauma of they can't be something, they can't be true, they can't be authentic, they can't be transparent, they
Mhm.
have to be what the other person is, and when the other person doesn't know who they are, and it becomes this big thing.
Yeah.
It is possible to have a very healthy, happy relationship. A lot of people do it all the time, but it's on the individual's part.
Yeah.
You can't go to. I think my mistake was my mistake the first time I went to couples therapy. I don't know about you, Sean. Was the fact that we're
Mhm.
going to go to couples therapy and we're going to fix our relationship and not fix ourselves. We're going to fix our relationship. The
Yeah.
relationship is the part that needs to be fixed.
Mhm.
So we'll just fix the relationship, not understanding that it's not about, like, couples counseling and joint therapy and all that. It's not about fixing the relationship. It's about fixing each other within the relationship. That's how you fix the relationship.
Yes. Because
And
the relationship is a reflection of that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the most common, and the other most common is the couples therapist is gonna tell them all the things that they're doing wrong.
Yep.
Those are the 2 massive misconceptions about
Yep.
couples therapy, because I was in couples therapy before I got divorced. Um, and so, yeah, that's not at all.
No.
That doesn't happen.
No.
It's usually the opposite. It's you realize that you have a I realized that I had a big hand in creating the environment and creating the situation where we were at. Um, so yeah,
Oh, are you okay? You look a little triggered.
yeah. This is a tough one. I mean, this
I'm sorry.
is and it's okay. No, that's what we're here for. This is what waking up is for.
Well, it's
Um,
not here for making
yeah.
us uncomfortable all the time like that. I mean, I mean, it does. This show is us being honest and vulnerable, and I mean, it is what it is. But
A- as a golden child, vulnerability is one of the most difficult things.
we've been through heavy stuff. Yeah. Welcome to
Yeah.
welcome to the Nerd Mom Ace community.
Yeah. We tackle these things. We
Yeah.
tackle the uncomfortable.
I mean, that's the big
We
thing.
talk
That's the
about
whole
it.
reason I started my channel. Like Nerd Mom
Hmm.
Ace back when I was doing YouTube stuff. To this day,
Yeah.
it's always been consistent. Is that the here's
Hmm.
my shit. Now, I didn't lay all of my shit out in the beginning, but like here's my shit. You're not
Neither did
alone.
I.
No, I mean neither one of us did. See, new and improved, you know?
Yeah.
Um version 8650 because I'm BPD, so I go through a lot of reinventions. But
Yeah.
here it is. You're not alone.
Hmm.
This is a safe space. And that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be fixed
Hmm.
because we're not.
Mm-mm.
It's okay to fall
That's why
apart.
we call it a journey.
Mhm. That's why my show used to be called In the Middle because we're not there. I'm not
Yeah.
there. I'm not done. I'm
Hmm.
somewhere in the middle of this shit.
Hmm.
It's okay. And 9 times out of 10, somebody's been through it too. Somebody in this community has been through it, knows exactly what it's like,
Or is
and
going through it.
or is going through it. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, if you need somebody to talk to, it's right there with you. We're here. That's the great thing I love about Team AOA too. Team AOA is the same way. I mean,
Hmm.
that has been the foundation. This is the foundation of Nerd Mom Ace, but like Team AOA is very much that way too. We're all like that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Uh, One of the hardest things that I dealt with as I was going through um, the end of my marriage was isolation. Feeling like I was alone, feeling like I'm the only one that's going through this, feeling like it's just me against everything. Um, and that's one thing I love about our show, about Team AOA, and about your channel is that so many times when we say this is what I'm going through, I say this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I have dealt with. There's someone in the community that's like, oh, absolutely, yes, I felt that. I realize I'm not alone. You guys realize you're not alone. We're dealing with very similar stuff, and we have different perspectives on it, and we see things differently, and we talk about it. Because for the longest time, it's I didn't talk about it.
Well, that's very typical of Golden Child too.
Yeah, vulnerability is the hardest thing. Talking about it is extremely difficult for Golden Child.
Oh, that's a whole we could go for
Ooh,
on for no, but that's a
yeah.
whole
Well, that's a whole
that's
nother
a
episode.
that's a whole nother episode, you know
Oh,
what?
yeah, you're absolutely right, Eric.
Oh, you know
Absolutely.
what? We should actually
Ooh,
talk about that next week because not only in
sure.
isolation in relationships, but think about the isolation that we had in the church that felt the isolation and just that
Yes.
feeling of isolation. I feel like that's something we could talk about next week.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. You know what, Eric? Thank you for inspiring
Thank you for that.
our
Yeah.
our next
Absolutely.
week's topic because it is important to talk about. I think a lot of
Yes.
people they're starting to talk about it more now, but so many people don't want to admit they feel that way. Um, yeah.
And and there's people that often
Y'all hear my
get that
stomach
feeling
growl?
invalidated.
That was really
Ooh,
loud.
yeah. There's a lot of people that invalidate that feeling too. How do you feel that way? You're so blah. You have
Oh,
blah. Right?
fuck.
Okay, we're gonna stop now before we reach
No,
trigger.
no. You already started some shit. You started some shit. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that whole bullshit. That fucking bullshit of why do you feel that way? Why do you feel so isolated? I'm right here.
Yeah. Oh. Let me jab you in the eye with a pen.
Yeah, you're right here,
yeah.
and yet I feel so alone. I wonder fucking why. Oh, it's my fault? Okay. It's my fault. That is my fault that I'm feeling disconnected, and it's if only I just
that phrase.
I wouldn't feel so isolated in this relationship if only I just. You know what? How about you just go take that and you take your fucking eye, Justin. I will tear the eye.
Tear you a new one with it.
Hello, I'm Dr. Arubes, and I'm about to be a proctologist because I'm going to shove that eye just right so far up your ass that you're going to be tasting that shit.
Oh my god!
Can y'all tell that's a little hot button time?
That's poke.
Thanks, Pep.
Poke. That's what I'm here for.
All right, my stomach is about to growl.
Let's wrap it up.
I'm pretty sure that my stomach is about to make its own appearance. Stop fiddling with the screwdriver. You're welcome, Jay.
Oh man.
All right, so Eric, you can come back next week because we're going to talk about your topic. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
He's gonna,
absolutely.
Sean's already like writing it down so we don't forget.
No, actually I wasn't, but I did think about that. I was like, we're gonna forget this, right?
You're gonna write it down so we don't forget, right?
Am I though? Am I? All right, I probably should.
Anyway,
what was topic? All right.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
Oh my god. Okay.
No, I was actually I was going for the links. That's what I was gonna do.
Oh, but, yeah. Put up your links. So, I don't know. I want a game tonight.
Yeah,
I don't have my kids tonight, so I think we should game.
Yeah, let's do it.
We might. I might go live and win gaming tonight. We'll figure out. I don't know. And so those are our links for Team AOA. The first link is our Team AOA channel. That is our group channel. We have a group channel, so subscribe to that. That's where we have our show on Tuesdays. 3 Bards and a Dragon. Actually, I'm producing this one, Jay. So
yeah,
waking up
self-produced.
Welcome. Waking up is mine. So go join us. It's a great time. Last week was sort of funny. With the body swapping. That was fun.
That was weird.
Jay and I knew each other way too well. Like we were just like
that was the best part was you and Jay through the entire episode with your tails. Oh my god, I couldn't stop laughing during that.
AOA stands for Assembly of Arooks. And okay, well, since you're new, I will explain it. It's a fun story. So Team AOA used to be a part of BSBN, Blue Skirt Boy Network. We all were. It was a lot more people. So what happened is that when I had another show with somebody, and they used to joke about how I was starting a cult because a lot of people were joining my community. And I was a newer streamer, so it's like they were joining my community. They were loving it. They were consistent. I was building a very solid community, and of course, they were joking about how I was starting a cult. And I was like, it's not a cult. It's an assembly. It's the assembly of Aroogs. Like, it can't be a cult if it's an assembly. Like, and it actually became a very big competition. There's a reason why the official merch of Assembly of Aroogs, because that's on my channel, is white. It's very funny because his was black, and so it was very much dueling chess pieces. And so when we had earlier this year, when we had decided that we were going to start our own group, a lot of the people who were discussing this breakaway were unofficially termed Team AOA, because when we were doing the competition, it was Team D101 and Team AOA, and a lot of the people that were on Team AOA, Assembly of Arugs. That was my nickname. That's my sort of, yeah. And that's because they couldn't pronounce my first and last name. So I ended up, that was my nickname
She
for a long time.
mashed it together, and that's what it
Arugs.
became.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when we discussed what we were going to name our network, and I was like, well, no, it doesn't have to be Team AOA. Like, I don't want it to be about me. And they're like, well, we're already that. We're already Team AOA. So as long as it's and that's how it became to be. So yeah, we are Team AOA. We have been Team AOA for a long time, and here we kept it. It's just, yeah. So that is it. It bred out of a competition, and then it became who we are. So yeah, and I love our group.
I do too. You guys are great.
I mean,
we have our moments.
We do. But Tuesdays we on Team AOA channel. That's Tuesdays. Wednesdays it's on Dorian Sombra's channel. That's Build with Pep. Thursday we have the BRB network on YouTube. That's with our friends Dorks on Demand. That's our friends Nick Ray. They are also part of Team AOA. We love them. And then Fridays we've been doing community game night the past couple of nights. I don't know. I think we might game again. I think we might be keeping up some type of gaming on Friday nights. We're not going to make it official just so that it's not like in this good. But we've been the past few weekends, we've been gaming together, whether it be a community game night or some type of gaming. And then Sundays we're here. We're actually talking about starting a new RPG game where we will broadcast that. So we had a meeting about that, and I'm sort of excited. Because
oh my god, this is gonna be amazing.
It's good. It is.
We talked about it for so long, and we're finally gonna.
Yeah, well, we talked about D&D, but we're starting out with an RPG.
Yeah, you're right.
So we're starting out
you're right.
lighter, so that we could build into that D&D part. But yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And
So we'll keep you guys posted on how what we're gonna do with that.
I don't know. I'm hungry. My stomach is like. I'm surprised y'all can't hear it.
Follow the channels. You'll know when we go live.
Yes.
So you can hang out with us.
Wasteland Welcoming Committee. Yeah. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Did you really just high five over me?
No, we didn't.
Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Hello.
You don't even do that well from the front seat.
Okay.
And the bear's coming with the cup and spoon.
That's a straight up PBR for the table.
Yeah.
I think it called.
She ain't judging us at all.